I had complications with my dog. My dog took a while to come in. I know when my dog came in, I was in there with my mom and one of and her bird. But, and I was drinking eggnog. But I don't celebrate Christmas by doing eggnog. Unless I'm making Charlie chicken roots. No, eggnog. Nothing wrong with eggnog, there's nothing wrong with food. It's just pagan customs that go along with it. So you can't demonize anything. You just have to be discerning and logical. I mean, you can if you want to demonize anything, then yeah. Like pie is not bad. It's not evil. It's a spirit. I don't even think Thanksgiving is evil in of itself. I think the concept of it is fine. But if you're aware of its origins, you can eat on Thanksgiving, but you shouldn't be celebrating. Because the origins are their pagan origins and murderous origins. Thanksgiving is not. I know there's Tonto, but Tonto, just like teacher told me that the Pilgrim Thanksgiving thing was a lie. It's not true. So that's all out the window. Tell me any original source for the mainstream televised Thanksgiving. So I had complications. That's why I'm late to start this live. The title of this live will be titled. The title of this live is The Origins of Islam. Now I would allow an intermission conversation in the midst of this, but this is the initial title of the live. I'm going to go through Islam. Now going through Islam, for someone who knows Arabic, going through Islam will be to evangelize to Lewis, but because I care about Lewis. I don't want to see him go to hell. Here we go. I'm gonna. How good is my camera's not that good. Don't worry, I'm gonna get a new camo. At least I want to get a new camo. It'll be next month, but I want to get a high quality. You can actually get like advanced camos in your initial camo spot. You can take your camo out and can't think. I'll look it up. I know they can put. I know they can put your camera. Sure, they put advanced camera in your initial thing. It's not like I needed a better camera, but it's better quality. So. I'm going to turn off the camera. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. 'Cause I want to praise the Lord. More than you, I want. I want to seek your face, and then I would give you grace, 'cause I want to praise.
Lily, it's time for bed. Now.
Hey, Willis.
What's up, brother?
So now you basically uncup yourself. You are a basic. You're basic of a black Islamic. You're basically a part of the Nation of Islam. Because the Nation of Islam, they both believe they're Hebrew Israelites, and they believe in the Quran. That you're basically a Malcolm X follower. That's basically all.
Oh, I'm a Hebrew Israelite who believes in the Quran. Yeah.
No, like if you know what they taught in black Islamic sources, this is what they taught: that they are Israelites, but they follow the Quran.
Yeah, I guess I fall in that category.
You follow Malcolm X.
Well, personally, I never studied. I've heard of him, obviously, but the movement started with Master Farad Muhammad, and then what's his name again? I can't remember his name.
Right now, I want to pull up the lecture. I want to play bits of the lecture and how you respond to it. It's good to get that lecture out there. Now it's going to go through the whole entire thing, where you're going to play pieces of it, and the audience can see it. You can respond to it. This goes into the topic of the origins of Islam. The Catholic Church is called the Mother Whore.
Sorry, his name was Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad was the student of Master Farad Muhammad, and who started the nation.
If you study the historicity of Islam, it's like the Eastern Orthodox. They appeared like in they're not that old. But I think my best attack on Allah would be a philosophical one. Would be to critique his divinity.
Just wrote 2 new books. One called, for those who don't know me, was Aisha 6 years old when she married Muhammad, disputing the claim that Aisha was 6 years old. An historical exhortation. My second book is called Who is Satan? An historical analysis. We're going to be looking at both of those books tonight. If that's okay with Brother Bray. My two books was Asia 6 years old, and then the second book is Who is Satan? An historical analysis, which is my two books.
I already took a look at the Who is Satan book.
Yeah, if we can screen share that, like I said, if we could take a look at that tonight, because it's going to give us context with the topic, with the subject we're dealing with tonight. It's called Who Was Satan? Historical Analysis, my new book I wrote maybe 4 days ago. So this is one of my newest books. This is my newest book, actually.
Well, if you want to give a logical, historical, etymological analysis, the biblical Satan can be seen in sociology through who is ruling the earth and their cult. The biblical Satan seems to be appeared. I mean, if you've talked with demons, they'll testify to the biblical Satan.
Right. Well, if we got time, we can take a look at that right now before we get started. That's okay with Brother Brave. We can just
So, you think Satan did not rebel? So why are the demons?
If we can take a look at the book real quick. I answer all that in the book. We can take a look at that before we should get started now.
So you do believe in demons, though?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We can take a look at my book of Who is Satan and Historical Analysis. We can take a look at that right now, so we can just get started with tonight's topic.
Islam calls them jinns.
I covered all that in the book, Who is Satan and Historical Analysis. So if you could pull it up on the screen real quick, we'll take a look at that right now. And the complete historical analysis of Who is Satan. So it's my newest book I wrote. I just wrote it 2 days ago or 3 days ago. We can pull it up on the screen and we'll look at that right now. Temple Published Author. You can find my other books at lulu.com. Just type my name in Rabbi Lewis, Lews. You can find. I wrote over 15 books. I wrote 15 books already, and you can find my other books. This is book number 15. So I've written 15 books. So, and more coming.
No, you're not.
So we look at the same book we're going to be looking at was Aisha 6 years old when she married Muhammad. We're looking at two of those books tonight. If that's okay, Brother Bray, and then we'll get into tonight's discussion.
I think I want to take a look at the origins of Islam first.
What'd you say?
I want to take a look at the lecture first, and then we can go into your information.
Okay, great.
I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna find like certain clips or like. Just wait. I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do. What makes more sense to go through your sources? We're gonna go through.
I guess we'll look at my work first, and we'll look at your sources.
He's pretty good, minus his wilderness. And I didn't like his wilderness. I did not like his series he did. It was not evangelistic. It was just a mockery.
You said we look at my books first, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to your book.
All right, I sent you both. You should have the Who's the Isha book, and I just sent the Satan book about 10 minutes ago, so you should see it.
go to Satan. What's wrong with advertising on Facebook?
What you say? Advertising on Facebook?
Yeah, they don't like it.
You closed my account for advertising.
Listen, you can find a bunch of accounts on Facebook that advertise for you.
Yeah, they shut me down for advertising. Two of my pages.
Well, they don't shut the other accounts down.
Yeah, I have no idea why they shut me down, man. I had to make a third account 3 days ago. As you can see, that page is still up.
You can go on Facebook right now and research four-wheelers for sale, and they don't shut them down.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. So I never tried it again. I'm not gonna try it again.
Maybe they don't like you because you're.
So yeah, guys, we're gonna be looking at my Who is Satan up here, historical analysis, and then the Aisha book, proving she wasn't six, and covering the origins of Islam. I covered all that in both of my books.
I'm looking at your book before. I'm just looking at your book, scanning it.
You looking at?
I'm looking at your book.
Which one?
Who is Satan?
Yeah, okay. All right.
I'm scanning it.
Okay.
You're giving New Age information, you're giving the occult.
It's a full analysis, so I dealt with all sides of the coin, so to speak. I dealt with some of this in the way, some of it's not, and some of it's.
You just really give your opinion. You didn't really have really debunked the idea of Satan being at a level. You just
Can you put it up on the screen? That's okay.
I'm looking at it.
Okay, it's your panel, man. Whatever you want to do.
I can pull it up. I'm looking at it. There's a light veil of information, and he's good. And I know. You didn't really debunk, did you? You just gave sides of it, and you showed the Quran.
You pull it up on the screen. Is that okay?
Well, the evidence that the Noah's Ark is ritual is shown through Chinese culture, through the writing of Gilgamesh, through other cultures throughout the world. Yeah, so and they found the ark. Arguably, they found the ark. So
Wait, hold on. Pull it up, brother, so we can look at it. Well, I mean, I'll respond to every point you want to look at. I mean, every point you have, so that people can actually see it, so people can see the information.
well, based on the evidence, I would say you committed a fallacy. Look at that. You ever heard of
Can we take a look at that? Is that okay? We can pull it up on the screen. Okay.
You ever heard of the etymological fallacy? Oh, you really need to present better information, or you. I mean,
Take it away, brother. Whatever you want to do, man. We can start at the beginning.
Satan is no religious belief system. Satan is an actual real being and logical and truthful explanation of the head of the evil within the world. Satan is a being who has deceived the whole world with a bunch of things and leads most of the population to everlasting destruction. Satan is a very real being. He's not some religious figure. Because I used to be the first Christian and just believe in the devil. Now I know Satan is real. I know people with discerning spirits. I know more persons than they saw Satan. They saw the dragon's eye. This one brother saw a dragon's eye in the spirit realm. Satan or Leviathan. Either one fails. You think this is a religious thing? It shows that this is just a religious thing for you. This is just a belief system you chose. This is not like you're not like illuminated. This is just like a normal religious thing for you. I don't refer to things as faith. I refer to it. I know demons are real. I insult. I know I have the same relation, but you're just another religious person. So, in Abrahamic faith, Satan is the adversary who tempts man with all unholiness. The Christian Bible is introduced with concepts about Lucifer. The Tanakh, when it speaks of Lucifer, falling from heaven, Lucifer is the son of the morning, which really represents the planet Venus. New Age again. You mix it in. What? Which is a white morning star. Because he's called the light bearer. That's figurative, that would mean that. Not really a planet. Lucifer is a real entity. Michelle, Issachar, the Israelite tribe had in times, and this is why I respond. 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 8, a day to the Bible, a day to the Bible God is 1,000 years. That's not ritual. That basically, I would say that's referring to that if you are in the spirit realm with God, you're in eternity. It feels like forever. That's figurative. What to me, like that's figurative. That's not literal. That's used by people that want to say the Earth is billions of years old while holding on to the God Bible. According to NASA, a day in Ocean is 1,000 years. Could the Bible God be an alien from Ocean constellation? Oh, yeah, that's like a fallacy. That is like you just oh. Love says God is spirit. God's no alien. Like we can talk philosophy. That's basically my approach. I'm gonna talk about Allah in a philosophical sense and show how He cannot be the true God. I'm not going to attack His morality because that's an illogical. And you can make a case for it, but like it can be a fallacy if you do it. The New Age occult the New Age occult has an alternative story, or should I say explanation, of who is Satan. According to Zechariah Stitch's work, a fictional writer who carried on George Stone's work, translating the epics of Gilgamesh. Well, Gilgamesh is actually a historical writing, it's not a fictional writing, it's a historical writing. But the Ilis and other Adrian Econog, I didn't say it's fictional, it's just translated. And other Echinondrian Babylonian texts. So you're given, well, I see here you're given all these views of who Satan is. Surely other religions has views on Satan. Try to hide who he actually is. Luciferians believe he's a good god. There's New Agers that believe he's just like a negative force or mindset. I mean, there's different views of who he is. But the evidence in his actual operation, where we can see the evil at work, would point back to the biblical God and point back to Paul's writing, Ephesians 6.
It's getting good. It's about to get good, man.
Your book, you're just given. Paul's writing was not against flesh and blood, but God in power. So, where in here do you tell me what a demon is? Do you think a demon is a reptilian? Is that what I mean? Hybrid, Anunnaki babies. You just give me New Age. You're just inserting New Age into the discussion. You're not inciting that from your source. You're teaching it like it's true. You're just like. when factually we know the giants existed. So demons do exist, and they are an offspring of the Nephilim. So no, they're not. I mean, this can sound true to people, but how do this one exist? Is it the evidence when it comes to the true narration of things? The evidence points to the Old and New Testament. The Old New Testament do not point to aliens or Anunnaki, but the Anunnaki are just figurative speech of different demons in the spiritual realm. So again, if I would just basically, when it comes to New Age, I would just go, how to respond to New Age as philosophy and etymology and history. And evidence.
If you read on, I give you Bible sources and Quranic sources as you read on.
Quran and the Bible are separate, so they do not agree together. The Quran is not the Bible. The Quran is not the Word of God. An ex-Satanist said that the Quran was written by a spirit of murder. This guy was a high-up Satanist that said that. He was saying, like, according to the New Age book, like the Muslim Bible, Oscar, Noah, yes, a ark, but a ark is not a literal boat. A ark is a circle of time. A 2,000-year circle, wow. So Noah's Ark is the Ark of Noah. This is just how to refute that, because the evidence is the Ark we found the Ark. We have scientific evidence, historical evidence outside of Christianity, within culture and so on.
If you pull up, I give you a literal interpretation of the Noah's Ark as well. If you can read that, where it says Enki created men. If you want to read that one paragraph, so I gave an historical case for the actual boat as well, but you skipped that.
What do you believe? Do you think the Ark is figurative?
Read from there where it says Enki created men. Read that.
Enki's created men, and he slept with native. Isn't this one like similar to the? This is from the occult book.
You read that. That's okay.
Enki created men, so he slept with native Earth women and hybrid Anunnaki and Earth babies. Hence, these hybrid Earth women now had God what the Hebrew word for Adam really means. Oh, that refers to him being made in his image. Do what you do. Do what you do. We know Adam existed. We know he can show he existed by DNA. So that's another source of his one thing. It's figurative interpretation of who he is. Hence, So this is why God flooded the earth during the time of Noah. These hybrid Anunnaki babies now had the biological right to inherit the guru and sit as kings. So apparently, evil and Enu wanted men killed, and he became known as Diablo Devil. He wanted men to ascend, while evil gods and the gods wanted to suppress these old children from ascending first. Forward time and time, there was an Anunnaki named Kelsu who gave Noah who this new age, a bunch of new age stuff, and the evidence would pile, and evidence would be against. The evidence points to the Noah's Ark, not this alien. The whole alien thing is from it's just demons. They really messing up, right? Oh my god. This is not good. This is just new age doctrine. You're putting in this new age doctrine as fact. You're basing Islamic, a black Islamic new age. That's what you are. You're flipping. You're not telling people, hey, this is what the Islamic supposed to say. You are assuming this stuff is fact. The new age by Aleister Crowley is said to be another form of Satanism and another form of deception. And that's what you're sweating here. Another form of deception, another form of to hide the truth about demons and Satan. Aleister Crowley knew Satan was real. He was a good servant of Satan, and he was very wicked. Did you ever watch Stephen Jankont and his apologetics to the New Age movement? If you really study religion, each religion points back to being created by demons or the biblical demons or Satan. I don't come about the aliens. It's not evidential material. It's just a bunch of foolishness. Like, mm, 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 mm. I basically pretty much define the business just a bunch of garbage. I mean, I can scan through this so people can read it. I'll go closer. But this is pretty much garbage. Oh. This is just a bunch of new age garbage. true. The New Age, the person that knows what they're talking about, is just something that you can wipe it's just toilet paper. It sounds good, like it sounds like pretty cool, it sounds interesting, like a lot of spiritual stuff, but not philosophical or evidential fact. Just a bunch of more like Shad in Hebrew means demon, became a beast. The gods of the nations are demon gods. They're not actual gods. They're entities created by God that turn rebellious, that seek to steal worship from God, to empower their kingdom to mock God and destroy people, to savage God and so on, to steal the worship from God. And they focus on man's limitations and emotions and desires, sinful desires, in which to turn the worship back to man. If you study religions and what they teach and what they worship, you can see what I'm saying. They focus on the limitations of man and the desires of man, the emotions of man, or the evilness of man from worship. You can tell the difference between Christianity and Islam and polytheism. When the God of the Bible is higher than man's emotions and actually demands self-denial and resistance of the flesh. When other religions are dumbing down to the man level of things. It's just a form of self-worship. Bible says that God's ways are beyond man's ways, so there's a difference. And the Christian tradition within the Illuminati, the Jesuits, is all attacked. If you know, the Muslim care. By Satan, apparently. What is your evidence? Not because the Gospels are regarded by historians to be biography. So what is your evidence of what the narrative of the Gospel is not true? It's just an assumption. Muslim. So, in which people was given the Quran? So, in which people was given the Quran?
So that's my book is Who is Satan? Historical Analysis. If you want to read the whole thing for yourself, go to Lewis.com, type in my name, Rabbi Lewis, LULU.com, Rabbi Lewis, LEWS. You can find it if you want to read it yourself.
I recommend not just a bunch of New Age Islamic garbage.
Like I said, it's a historical analysis of Satan. So if you want to check that out, this is my book. Go ahead and check it out.
It was, so now I'm going to cover my story, and I'm going to go over a philosophical critique of Islam and Allah.
Look at the Isha book, yeah. You see what the Isha book as well, right?
The Isha book I don't really care about because I don't really, I mean, we can go over it later. It's something that's pretty much off topic.
No, because the book I deal with more than just Aisha. I deal with the origins of Islam as well. So we could just skim through that like real quick, then we'll go to your source. I mean, that's your personal, like I said, what you want. So we'll just skim through it. We're not gonna read the whole. We'll just skim through it, and then we'll go to your source.
We'll go ahead and do it.
Yeah, so we'll just skim through it real quick. 5 minutes. We'll skim through it. Then Brother Bray's source. That's not it. It's a different book. It's a different book.
Are you ever sent horoscope things from the email?
What you say, bro?
I'm sent like horoscope medium things from my email.
You see what says Muhammad? That's the book.
Have you been seeing those kind of things in the email? I should just call that psychic and say, is that? I thought about like calling the psychic. I don't want to get demons and to I mean, I have power over demons. I don't want to early 10,000 get cursed by rich. You want something good? You want something good, guys? My brother David commented on an actual witch's YouTube channel. I'm just talking for a second. Tell you about this. My brother David commented on an actual witch's channel, and the same night he got sleep paralysis. Same night. He told the witch to give him the best that she had, and after that, witchcraft can be real.
We'll just skip to the Muhammad book, and then we'll go to Bray's source.
Does the picture, since it's close to the picture, look good on my screen share? Hold on, let me get this thing in full screen. So, where do you go from the origin?
We'll do the origins at the beginning of the book. So just go all the way to the top and read the first two paragraphs. The rest of this is about Aisha. So the first two paragraphs is about Islam. The rest of it is about how Aisha was and how the
Is
Quran.
is
It's just the first part. The first part.
have the cube at Mecca, but you don't really hear if it's pagan because even though you claim to follow the Old Testament, you call themselves like the gods from the New Age.
Just read the first two paragraphs. That pretty much sounds, about Islam. The rest of it is about Aisha.
What does the Old Testament say about going and following other gods and and heeding to the way of the heathen? Does it condemn it?
Yeah, read the first two paragraphs. We'll deal with that after this. We'll deal with Islam. And then go to your brother Brace source. We want to look at.
My sources I'm going to show is a lecture, pieces of a lecture, and selected videos by David Wood. Because I can say some things, but he pulled up the sources.
Just read the first two paragraphs, and we'll go to your source. The rest of this is about Aisha, so it's kind of okay.
The Sunni majority got in the way as the father of Aisha.
There's two sects of Islam called Sunni and Shia. You also got the Bakris, you got the Wahhabis, and the Sufis. But the two main sects are called Sunni and Shia. So I explained the difference between Sunni and Shia. If you want to read that real quick, bro.
I'm looking at it. You, one of the most important days for the Sunni Muslims is the 10th day of the holy month of Ramadan, the first month in the Islamic year. Following ceremonies celebrate the anniversary of the death of Hassan Aidillah, the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad and son of
First two paragraphs at the top, so you kind of see the difference between the Sunni and Shia. And then the first two paragraphs at the top, so you can see the difference between the Sunni and Shia. Because there's the two different sects called Sunni, so you look at the difference.
the Sunni majority got their way as Abu Bakr, the father of Aisha, became the first Muslim caliph and successor of the Prophet. One of the critical differences between Shia and Sunni Muslims is the importance that the Shiites give to Ali, whom the Sunni do not recognize as being the Prophet's rightful successor.
Read on. You know.
The conflictions between Sunni and Shia and Sunni Muslims go back to the 7th century in the death of the Prophet Muhammad. Yet a spotlight has been shone recently on the differences between the virtues of the religion as the number of clashes between the groups has intensified. The vast majority of the 1.6 billion Muslims in the world are Sunni, according to the 2009 study of Pew Research Center. Between 10% and 13% are the Sunni Muslims. and 87% to 90 are Sunni Muslims. I don't have perfect reading skills, just you know. Sunni Muslims are also present in more countries and regions throughout the world, whereas most um, Shia Muslims live in four countries: Iran, Pakistan, India, and Iraq. If Aisha was 20 years old, then that's fine. But give me a second. Somebody said it's hard to hear me. Like here it was. I don't want to see more how for a chapter. I'm going to talk about Allah in a philosophical sense and show how He cannot be the true God. I'm not going to attack His morality. Bad and evil and demon and good. So let's recap. Somebody couldn't hear my voice. I checked the live and my voice is muffled. So let me recap. We went through his book on who is Satan. And he gave a bunch of New Age, occult, mumbo jumbo about the demons being Anunnaki babies. And I said, well, evidentially, and um, evidentially the evidence points to, and through us knowing that giants existed, and through all these other religions points back to pagan, emotional, self-worship through worshiping demons to worship self in the sense of blasphemy God. In the sense they're going to worship is that you're worshiping their desire to love God. So these are every religion. It all goes back to the worship of demons and Satan. It has a connection. So it shows that Satan is truly the God of this world, and that he runs the world, the ones who work to the idols, the person part of life. So the alien, so the in case for the Noah talking figure, like the Noah, the Evan, Ivan, the alien. more of the Hebrew word means, I don't know, Hebrew word for Adam means man with God's work. So that makes me supposed to take it in context because to him made in God's image, him being made in the likeness of the character of God, changing minds, three-part being, that kind of stuff. Changing of the mind ability. So I'm affecting those animals and how we have DNA that we can actually show that Adam literally did exist through DNA. It traces back to one man. Evolutionists say it traces back to a common ancestor, but I've addressed logically and philosophically in the debate with an atheist, conversation with an atheist through the Summer Channel, and logical to conclude that it was rather a man and a common ancestor, which wouldn't give us the logical and obvious sociological foundations if we know and are conscious and obviously that exists, which atheism and evolutionary theory, pollution of
The audio is kind of muffled.
what? Let me play this again. I don't have my.
You're good now. You're good now. You're good now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
You're good now.
Okay, again, I want to recap once more. So we went through Lewis's book on who is Satan, and he gave New Age, and it was basically an it was basically a evangelistic book for the New Age in Islam. So I already know that in New Ages there's different views on Satan being good, being a mindset, being a negative power in this world that influences bad thought. I know there's different views on this one already, but the evidence points back to the problem of evil in this world. The evidence and the historical evidence and all of the revelational evidence points back to the biblical original narrative, which given the Old Testament and New Testament of Satan and of demons, and not of the New Age stuff, which can be argued to be laughed out the room garbage. We're dealing here with logic, evidence, and of course, a Christian is not a god. A Christian is the whole Christian on the basis of evidence, but it's a good way to attack the lies is with the evidence, with the truth. So it all points back to the truth of the scripture, the truth of the worldview given by the scripture. So he gave a case for a figurative case, a case for the allegorical meaning or allegorical meaning or existence. We get it, allegorical meaning of the Noah's Ark being allegorical, meaning figurative. And you know the historical sources, Chinese source, outside more than one sources throughout cultures and religions, the writing of Gilgamesh, scientific source, archaeological source, would arguably be found in the Ark, will come back to a literal existence of the flood. And DNA, and he come back to, you mentioned how the word Adam means the earthling with God's word. Take that in context, you gotta take that in context within the Old Testament and New Testament. You gotta put this Hebrew and Greek words within the context it's used, because they have a meaning within each context. So, unless you believe that there's a specific word for anything, this Hebrew word doesn't have multiple meanings, which that is also believed. But that can be true. Always true. But just fine, we understand. That refers to Adam. Adam being made in God's image, being have been body, soul, We know we can tell by a literal existence of Adam through DNA. We either extend a value um, comes from one man, which is Adam, or argued by atheists and evolutionists as one common ancestor, with logically, I even talked about this with an atheist previously on the channel, which would be more logically concluded with Adam, because the existence of the Most High God and would give us the sociological and psychological, logical, obvious existences, the foundations of morality and truth and so on. And to be more logical to just scientific basis, as in design and so on, than to be some random common ancestor that has logical flaws within it. Um, so he just basically, and again, I want to say, I already know that the Jews for Lucifer, and even other use for demons, like it being a negative force, a negative vibe or mindset, or being a good God and saying in God is alive, being a bad God. So different views. But the evidence and the truth and the proof going back to the biblical original New Testament, Old Testament narrative of Lucifer and demons. What can be observed, what can be revealed, and the evidence points back to backing up the New and Old Testament. There's a bunch of evidence for it. So, and the New Age stuff can just be right out of the room. It's just a bunch of garbage. Just like Islam is lacking a lot of archaeological evidence. It's lacking evidence. But I'm going to make a philosophical case in the midst of this life why Allah cannot be the true God. It is not the true God. So, and just people, philosophy is not some bad thing to study. There's New Age philosophy, there's philosophy of the moon, but there's also simply a revelational, an understanding. We understand where God is like, we understand our conscience and so on. So we have an understanding of things. So I think of philosophy, I don't speak of philosophy of Zen, use emotional philosophy. I speak of revelational logic, reasoning, which is biblical. Jesus is called the Logos, Scripture, the logic. Arguably that to be the meaning in English. And God said in the Old Testament, for the Old Testament follows, let them come together, let us reason together. So reasoning and logic, philosophy, and that is scriptural and not to be strayed away from. There's different kinds of philosophy, there's different definitions. When I'm using philosophy, I'm using a more biblical-based philosophy, which backs up the Bible, it doesn't attack it. And it attacks all the rest of the Bible. So, as you see, if you can comprehend what I'm saying, this can be used in your evangelism to people. This philosophy is pretty good. And it's pretty hard to refute, if at all. So we went through his book. Basically, and like again, he went through the demons being maybe the Anunnaki when the evidence shows acts of the biblical Genesis narrative through evidence backing up the Old Testament, and we can see that giants did exist, which would be more evidential to back up the claim that giants exist, and the evidence to back up the Old Testament, that the Old Testament narrative of demons, of conclusion with an Old Testament backing of, as in some of at least a concept found in the Old Testament, which is demons being the offspring, the Nephilim, would be more backed up than the this demon foolish doctrine which can be laughed out of the room. But now, hopefully you guys heard me. Hopefully I was able to basically sum up some stuff and basically reply the stuff. A reptilian aliens are simply a kind of demon, or a demon that manifests itself as like a being of light, or as something that is to be revealed, to steal worship from God. So, if you believe in the Abrahamic God of the Old Testament, Allah, then you cannot have it both at the same time. This is simply a fallacy, and this is simply just idolatry. So when Israelite would hold this view that Lewis holds, you're not supposed to run from the way of the heathen, not to deal with the occult and deal with these things. You'd be called an adulterer. An adulterer. And probably you'd be stoned in the Old Testament. It shows that Lewis claimed to be Israelite. He would be stoned. If he was messing with like cult knowledge, he would be stoned. You're not supposed to. I mean, you can know these things, but if you believe these things and you follow these demonic deceptions and blood, you'd be stoned. So you can't have two gods. Basically the knowledge of good and evil is basically the belief that you can. You read it back as the belief that you can have disobedience. You can have two gods. You can be your own God, make your own decisions. Have your own knowledge that's outside of God's command.
Well, can I say something quick, Brent? Not to cut you off. In my book, Who is Satan? The Historical Analysis, I give a linguistic to make Tetragrammaton, Allah, the God of the Arabs. I give a linguistic analysis as well, and I build a linguistic case that they're both for the same God.
Well, we're going to talk philosophy and your God later. But so basically, the tree knowledge of Nemo is to seek knowledge that opposes God, opposes His will, and that's basically the tree knowledge of Nemo. So it's simply disobedience. It's simply the teaching that you can be on God, you can do what you want. And the teaching you can be on God surfaces every other religion. Atheism is a if you do your research, atheism is a non-theistic, pagan, self-worshipping religion. It's the belief system, and there's pagan, there's documentation on this. It's a belief system, pagan belief system, that you can directly worship yourself with. Atheism is not a naturalistic belief system, but in fact it's more of a naturalist pagan belief system. It's in the modern usage of the word, it's not non-religious. And even belief systems that goes along with it are traced and rooted back to pagan ideologies, such as the belief in naturalism, the natural and the world that exist, self-worship, pagan worship, the belief in the eternal universe is Hindu cosmology, and the belief in the Big Bang is also pagan, Hindu. The belief in evolution is also pagan, occultic, and the macro book that exists called the Necronomicon. Even Lewis can reference that book. It does exist. It's not just a TV show thing. It actually exists. So, these beliefs in the very substance itself, historically, if you find Christianity pagan historically, we go by the origins and by the roots to label which belief system or which ideology to connect it or to label it, to group together which. So we can label and actually group together atheism with paganism and with paganism. You may not like it, but this is the truth. You go together. All you guys go together. All you people that don't follow the Most High God go together as people that think you can be on God. People think you can do your own way. So now we are going to go to my source, and we want to go to the Roman Catholic Church. this would be a good tool to show Muslims, and hopefully I can stick some conviction by the Holy Ghost in Lewis tonight through the information I'm going to bring out. I'm going to check the live, make sure you guys hear this well. So you said that you made a linguistic case for Allah and the God of the Old Testament being the same God? If that's so, my response will be a philosophical and maybe even a biblical response to why that's not the case. We're going to first go through a bit of the Islamic connection and some of David Word, and then I'm going to give my response to Islam. And then you can, of course, you can reply in the midst of all this. I'm just checking the live to, I want to make sure people can hear that video. Basically, we'll come back to any ritual of this. And of course, we'll launch into the this book. To deal with being told to do these things, he would help on adultery and adultery. And probably
Cut you off. In my book, Who is Satan? Historical Analysis, I give a linguistic to make Tetragrammaton allow the.
okay, you guys can hear that video. That's good. Skip to 5 minutes in.
Will make the pilgrimages to Mecca, where they worship at the shrine of discuss that the Knights Templars had two aspects of their religion. Standard of what is right and what is wrong, and they will stand for principle. These are all wonderful ideals by those propagating the Islamic faith. And they are loyal like no other. Of all my students, I can honestly say that the students that came from the Islamic faith were loyal beyond anything that I could mention. So let me pay tribute to them. You will remember that we in the lectures discussed that the Knights Templars had two aspects of their religion. The one was for the goyim, for the uninitiated, and that, according to morals and dogma and all the testimonies relating to this issue, was Catholicism. So the outside world got Catholicism. The inner esoteric circle had Luciferianism. That was what happened to Catholicism. Do you think it might be possible that exactly the same thing could be happening in the Islamic faith? That there is an inner circle and an outer circle? That the inner circle has one faith and the outer circle gets goyim religion, the Islamic faith? And that controlling them both is a central organization which is seated where? Well, the Bible says that it is seated in Rome, nowhere else. The Bible says that the beast is Roman. It comes out of the Roman Empire, and Islam does not come out of the Roman Empire. The controlling force in the Bible is Rome. This is an interesting point. So if we look at this tremendous rival religion, which in numbers equals Catholicism, what is its origin and why is it there? These are very important questions. This is a mighty, mighty religion. And billions of people make the pilgrimages to Mecca, where they worship at the shrine of Muhammad. What a privilege it is for them.
And that's pagan.
To make the pilgrimage. There's another religion which also propagates pilgrimages, and that is Catholicism. So you have pilgrimages to Lourdes and the Marian sites and to Fatima. Pilgrimage is a symbol of the great pagan religions of the past as well. Now, who was Muhammad? Muhammad Mustafa was born in 570 AD and he died in 632 AD. He fled to Medina in 622 AD after Qadiyah's death. Who was Qadiyah? She was super rich. She lived in a convent, and she had the whole of the economy basically in her hand. And she employed this young man, Muhammad, whom she then also married. Muhammad marched on Mecca in 630 AD, 2 years before he died, and 4 years before Umar became Caliph. And the Quran was compiled in 650 AD. And Muhammad, who couldn't write himself, had a scribe to write down what he saw and what he heard. And the Quran is different, apparently, from all other religious writings because it was a directly dictated book. So it is not just transcribed by a prophet, so they teach, but it is the very word of God, and therefore it must always remain in its original Arabic language. That is what is taught in the Islamic religion. The symbol of Islam is the sickle moon and the star. The star within the sickle moon. Now, where does this symbol come from? And who is Allah? Well, let's go to some interesting quotes, also from encyclopedias of religion and etc. Allah, he was the moon god who married the sun goddess. Together they produced 3 goddesses who were called the daughters of Allah. These 3 goddesses were called Allat, Al-Uzza, and Manat. The Encyclopedia of Religion mentions that Allah is a pre-Islamic name corresponding to the Babylonian Bel. Fascinating. So this is an ancient pagan religion, and Bel, or Baal, is the deity. We read in Morals and Dogma, page 451, the Arabian word Aldebaran means the foremost or leading star, and it could only have been so named when it did precede or lead all others. The year then opened with the sun in Taurus and the multitude of ancient sculptures both in Assyria and Egypt, wherein the bull appears with lunette or crescent horns, and the disk of the sun between them are direct allusions to important festivals on the first new moon of the year, and there was everywhere an annual celebration of the festival of the first new moon when the year opened with Sol, sun, and Luna, the moon, Taurus, and the symbol of Taurus is that one over there. The crescent and disk combined always represent the conjunctive sun and moon. That means basically the male-female deity. Male-female aspect. Well, it was worshipped, as we see over here, adoration of the celestial cow, Mered, there's the all-seeing eye, the eye of Osiris, here of the horns, there is the disc in the horns, and it also represented the plunging of the sun god into the womb of the mother born by Isis. So the horns are also a representation of the moon, the sickle moon. So in later religions, or from Babylon itself, Assyrian style, there you have the half moon with a solar disk in it. Same over here, enlarged. Note that this is Baal Hadad, the birth of the sun. We go to Mesopotamia, we'll find the old symbol of Baal and Bel was exactly the same, the half moon and the star in it, representing the birth of the sun. Isis and Osiris, male-female aspect. So this would be Ashtoreth and Tammuz, or Isis and Horus, male-female. The same you find in Egyptian, as we have already discussed it. This is Baal worship. This is Lucifer worship in his male-female form. Now, the papacy has exactly the same thing, because the Pope is today the representative of the Babylonian religion. So when he says the Mass, he has a round wafer disc, its roundness coming as a symbol of Baal. And after a Mass, it is placed in a monstrance, which is a half moon. So then you have the birth of the sun, and you have it symbolized this form. Here's another monstrance in which the host is placed representing the birth of the sun. So Catholicism uses the symbol of the half moon with the sun or the star in it. Here's a Roman Catholic church in Germany, and has this, and there is the star. And this particular star here has 8 points. And as this clock moves round, of course, every time the long arm and the short arm intercalate, you have the birth of the sun god. Baal Hadad, Baal Hadad, Baal Hadad. Every now and then, every hour of the day. Very interesting. So the symbol of Catholicism is the moon and the star, hidden, of course, in many other symbols as well. We find Islamic symbols in the strangest places. Let us go to the state of Louisiana. Here's a police car, New Orleans, and we see the Islamic symbol on it. Here is the supervisor's car. You can see it quite clearly. Now that would be all fine and well, but let me take you to the Church of the Lady of Guadalupe in New Orleans. Here is the symbol on the front of the altar. Here is the typical cave where they have Mary within the cave. Inside this little cave chapel, you have Mary inside the grotto, a typical pagan symbol with all the notes of thanks for her intercessions. And if we go inside this little church, we have all kinds of interesting icons and pictures. And this sad picture over here of people actually believing that there is merit in touching one of these icons. If only we could reach people and tell them that Jesus is available everywhere in the world and we can speak to him directly. But why I'm taking you to this chapel is not only to show you the Marian idolatry, but to show you this stained glass window where they have the Islamic sign right there. And to disguise it, of course, they say New Orleans City Police. Now, what have the police got to do with the place of worship? Surely this is just to bring this symbol in under a pretext. Now, if you really use the Islamic symbol correctly, you would have to turn it around because the moon is a representation of the uterus upside down like the boat mast situation. And here you can see it perfectly. Well, if you do that, of course, you have the goat of Mendes. So these Islamic symbols are found also in Roman Catholic churches under various disguises. Now, this ancient religion existed before Islam, and the initiates of this religion, as we saw in Morals and Dogma, were the insiders, like Origen, for example, and the Bishop of Alexandria. These were the initiates who harbored the ancient religion. They were Christian, so-called, but of course they were not Christian. They just propagated that for the Goyim, Catholicism. True Christianity, they fought tooth and nail and tried to eradicate, and they tried to eradicate the Word of God, as we saw, by changing it. Now, Islam arrives on the scene way after that. So the true harborers were in Christianity before they were in Islam, and they were in two places, Alexandria and Rome. Alexandria was eventually taken over by Christianity, and the bastion, the great library, was destroyed, and the final seat of the occult knowledge was in Rome. So Rome is the seat of the ancient occult knowledge before Islam even appeared on the scene. That is the fact. And this ancient occultism had a potent enemy. Who was that enemy? Christianity. Christianity was growing in the place where the disciples had taught it. Christianity was growing in the heartland of the Middle East, Asia Minor, all the way up to India, the Bible says, into the north of Africa. That is where true Christian doctrine prevailed. They kept the Sabbath. Only Alexandria and Rome did not keep the Sabbath. Alexandria soon disappeared as a seat, and then the Sabbath was not kept in Rome. Very interesting history. So the symbol that Catholicism uses...
Oh, look what he just did. I don't condone what he just said.
Is the star and the sickle moon, and this star, by the way, is wonder who gave rise to who. Obviously, the one who is first can only give rise to the one who comes second, and not the one second give rise to the one who comes first. Isn't that correct? We think about it. So, in Catholicism, we find the half moon or the sickle moon, when the deity is in them. We find Mary replacing Jesus Christ as the mediatrix of all graces. The mediator, the sole mediator and advocate, is replaced by Mary. So here in this Roman Catholic monastery, Christ puts the crown of thorns onto Mary, and she has the holes in her hand. Mary is always depicted as coming out of a cave. Now, the ancient deities always came out of a cave. Loyola, the Jesuit, received all his information in a cave, and it is interesting that Muhammad received all of his information in a cave. That's paganism. That has nothing to do with Christianity. Now here we see in Islamic countries, in this particular one over here, we have this strange structure over here, and we have a statue of Mary on top of it. And Mary there appeared apparently as this little gazelle, but before the king shot it, it changed into Mary, and she told him to build a monastery. And that she did, or that he did, and there is the monastery high up on a hill. Now, whenever I find a monastery high up on a hill, I'm very interested, because high hills were pagan high places, where they sacrificed to pagan deities. It is interesting that all the cathedrals in the world are built on pagan places of worship. Even the Vatican is built on a pagan site of worship. Nothing has changed. So when I came to this particular place in the Middle East, I went to look for the ancient place of worship, and sure enough, on the hill, there it is, the triple arches of the ancient deity of sacrifice in the cave, as per usual. It's interesting that Mary always appears in the cave. In Fatima, she's in the cave. In Lourdes, she's in the cave. The Pope is always visiting the cave and worshipping the cave. As Osiris represented the sun in Egyptian law, Isis represented the moon, but the truth is that Osiris represented the male active generative powers of nature, while Isis represented the female passive or prolific powers. That's Encyclopedia of Freemasonry. So it's actually a form of nature worship. These people would do well in the Bohemian Grove, worshipping the trees. The Templar revelation identifies Isis as the Black Madonna on no less authority than a former head of the Priory of Zion. The Black Madonna cult is central to the Priory of Zion. To them, at least, there is no doubt about the significance of the Black Madonna. You see, Osiris was both black and he was white. And he's worshipped as black and he is worshipped as white. Mary is worshipped as a Black Madonna and as a White Madonna. So we have all these interesting nuances. The Hittites used symbol of the half moon and the solar deity. This symbol today, of course, is used by none other than the United Nations. Well, let us travel to an Islamic country today. Here is a Catholic cathedral in Amman. And I'm photographing this Catholic cathedral standing at the mosque. So I'm standing on the ground of the mosque and I'm photographing the Catholic cathedral right opposite. Now, it's interesting how Catholicism and Islam stand side by side in all the Islamic countries. And every time, I'm so surprised to see the cathedral and the mosque next to each other. You see, if you know the inside religion, behind the scenes, they're actually the same. So if I look at the symbolism on the outside of the Catholic cathedral, I have the symbol of the sun, because it was the symbol of the sun worship. And the cross, of course, the symbol also of the sun god. And there is the symbol of the sun. I go across the street, and there is the great Abdullah Mosque, one of the finest, built by King Abdullah. On the gates, you have the symbols of the sun. Same symbolism, same religion. On top, of course, now here you have the moon, the sickle moon, which the Catholic Church had on the clock. It was a symbol of Baal or Baal. Inside this mosque, There are, of course, no pews because in Islam you bow down and kneel on the floor on the carpet. And if you look up at the dress, old-fashioned Catholic nuns, and you will find that the dress is identical. Catholic nuns wear the same dress as Islamic women of Orthodox faith. This is the great mosque in Damascus. Fascinatingly, inside the mosque, right inside is the shrine, and there is a Muslim man praying at this shrine. Now, who's he praying to? Is it to Allah there? No. He's worshipping a relic of the dead. Because this is the shrine of none other than John the Baptist. Now, if you know something about Johannsenites, we've spoken about that, then you can already pick up, if you pick up the name John, you have Johansenism, then you have secret societies blended in the background. And they claim that this place has the head of John the Baptist. So an Islamic shrine in Damascus, this is, by the way, the oldest mosque, the most illustrious in that country, has this head. Fortunately, the Roman Catholic Church has a shrine with the arm of John the Baptist. I always say, if they carry on, they might be able to put him together again. I don't know. So it is the same form behind the scene. Inside the mosque, the women are not that important. They are relegated to the side. The men get the central positions. They are praying there with beads. In Catholicism, you pray with beads. Pray with the rosary.
Santeria, witchcraft.
And Islam is a very solemn religion. Just some of the sounds in this great mosque. Now, which other religion has the priesthood just for men? The Roman Catholic Church is exactly the same. And here you have the same position in the Islamic world. The Islamic all-seeing eye, this is a very prominent structure that is used in all of Islam. And you will not find a taxi cab anywhere in Islamic countries that will not have the all-seeing eye there as a protection. Of course, it's used in Catholicism as well, and it's on the US dollar and all these interesting places. And of course, the Eye of Hathor, the Eye of Osiris, on an Egyptian temple, there it is, on a Roman Catholic pulpit, another one on a Roman Catholic cathedral. Masonic author Carl Claudy writes, this is one of the oldest and most widespread symbols denoting God. We find it in Egypt, in India. The open eye of Egypt represents Osiris. India, Shiva is represented by an eye, and the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry says the all-seeing eye is an important symbol of the supreme being borrowed by Freemasonry from antiquity. On the same principle, the Egyptian represented Osiris. So, Islam uses the symbol, Catholicism uses the symbol. I'm just showing you some comparison. To the ancient Egyptians, the right eye symbolized the sun, the left eye the moon. So there you have, again, the two aspects of the sun god. Bailey then goes on to mention, this is Alice A. Bailey, that the eye of God is Shiva or Siva, the destroyer. Remember, Shiva is the Indian god who is the equivalent of Osiris. Shiva is also a synonym for Satan. Is it possible that both religions in the inner circle worship the same Lucifer, but that the outer court knows nothing about this? Well, who is Baal? Encyclopedia of Freemasonry. Whenever the Israelites made one of their almost periodical deflections to idolatry, Baal seems to have been their favorite idol. Tyre, Baal was the sun, Ashtoreth the moon, and so we have all the evidence that they know exactly what they're doing. There is no contradiction here, for Set is the Egyptian devil and Sheba is the Indian god of destruction. Both names Set and Sheba are listed in the Satanic Bible as another name for Satan. Is it possible that both religions serve the same master behind the scenes and that the masses are deceived, just like in Catholicism? Beautiful people who are kept ignorant. And the sincerity of the Muslim duped and misused because they are Goyim, catechumen. Elena Petrovna Blavatsky links Set to Satan. Hermes, the god of wisdom, is called Satan. All of these. Ancient Egypt, Set was worshipped under obscene homosexual rituals. And they had temples in which they had these homosexual rituals. For example, the Luxor temple. Now, I have lots of slides of the Luxor temple because I was there. I took many pictures at the Luxor temple, but I'm not going to show them to you because they are pretty naughty. Have you ever been? Who's been to Luxor here? Well, if you've been to Luxor and you go to the one wall, you will see that the phallus was very important. And the pictures are not for display. I have them, but I won't show them. Now, this is an ancient pagan site, the Luxor temple, one of the great relics of past time. Now, here we're going into the entrance, and oops, what's that? That's a mosque. Now, where's that mosque built? You don't mean the mosque is built into the Luxor temple? Is that possible? Well, let's go a little bit closer. Yes, there it is. It's in the Luxor temple. What does that tell you? If you had to build a Christian church today, would you go and choose the ancient pagan temple of Baal and build your church right here? Yes or no? No, of course not. But what if the secret religion is really the same old ancient religion of Lucifer worship? Would you then perhaps do it? Right? Yes? So there they've done it. It's built into that temple. Amazing. On the road. Now let me take you to the temple of Baal, which is another country in Lebanon.
We could do a part 2 with this video. This guy pretty much gave you a lowdown of information. Oh, Mr. Lewis left. Well, of course, I wasn't going to play the whole entire video. I said parts, but that video is just another video. The videos you can play parts of it, where they go certain sections of videos, it just runs all the information just loads a case, like a case for what you see. I'm trying to get Willis back in here. I'm trying to get my phone. I think that was just loaded with information. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I want to address, because an atheist will say, look, the story of Satan and the creation God repeats. No, it's simply a demon taking the form of the creator, which if you go back to Hinduism and pagan religion, they don't have the same narrative. They're just basically gods taking the form to receive the worship of the one true God. But really, all these gods were all created. So they're just mocking deity, just like people that are created and then take forms and positions and imaginations to mock or to be God. It doesn't prove that all these are just originated from each other, but it would prove that these are just entities, both physical and spiritual entities, do the same thing, trying to mock God, try to discredit him, and make him like he's a fairy tale. You know, every false religion, everything, all these false things are created under the same criteria, to be dedicated to the worship of Satan and demons. And to go against Christianity, go against the original thing, which is backed up by history, archaeology, which is clearly a truth to all this. And that is about the Bible. I can't get a hold. I haven't got a hold of Lewis, so I'm about to end this. If I wanted to. So, actually, I want to play. So, be blessed, guys, and Jesus Christ, bye.